Really?
If you do not know anything or very little about the Summer Wells case, I have no idea how you're going to follow this video, so just a heads up, advanced level only. I'm also going to be talking about a lot of creators. It might get a little Inception-like, but I'll do my best to explain, and I will link everything I mentioned down below also. Michelle After Dark made a video 2 days ago talking about an incident that was talked about on Squill Tits channel. It was an open panel with Scott H. They were talking about Jodisue and George Andy Bernard's son, Andy Jr. I don't think Michelle said his name. He's a man. I am going to start calling his dad by his full name, George Andy. He goes off Andy also, but I'm just going to refer to him from here on in as George Andy. We've way too many Andys, Dons. It gets very confusing. But Andy Jr., I've no problem in saying his name. He's an adult. I find it very odd that people who have been screaming, crying, bitching, moaning the last 2 days about this are the same people who have no problem in showing actual minors' faces, talking about them, talking about abuse that they received in videos that will be seen by their friends. I find it very odd. He's not a minor. He's a grown-ass man. He's a young man, but a man all the same. Michelle's video was called Creeper in the Woods. I'm sure most of you have seen it. But the gist of it is, Jodisue's son, Andy, was allegedly seen sneaking about in the woods in the Wells place and was chased off. He ran down to Jodisue, and then she protected him a bit, which we're going to see a lot here. She told the guys that was chasing him that, oh, he was with me all the time, he was just checking the mail. This is all hearsay. This is coming from the person who heard it directly from one of the people who were there. Here's the clip.
It is true that someone visiting the Wells saw Jodisue's son exiting the Wells yard, going into the woods, and exiting out onto Ben Hill Road where the person that was chasing him lost him. They later found him standing beside Jodisue's car, who was at the bottom of Dawn and Candace's driveway, blowing her horn, screaming at them to stop. And when the girl that chased him through the woods walked up Ben Hill Road and saw him standing next to the car, she said, "That's him." And Jodisue told Candace, "He was checking my mail. He has not been anywhere." But he was wearing the exact identical clothes that they saw the person standing in the yard.
Apparently, allegedly, this young man has been seen in the past creeping in the woods.
And there are eyewitnesses that were on the Wells property more than once that caught that boy in the woods on the Wells property between the house and Ben Hill Road where the dog trail is at the blue truck. I probably should not have said that.
Is it true? I have no idea, but it sounds like there's something in it. It would be an odd thing to make up. And a very interesting part also, very interesting, was a question that Jodisue asked Chris McDonough on a panel. Scott H was on the panel himself. They speculated, was Jodisue pretending to talk about Dawn, and was she actually talking about her own son, Andy, when she asked Chris McDonough a question about peeping toms? Are they likely to go on to offend?
She asked Chris McDonough, like, what, not quoting her word for word, but basically, what are the statistics for a peeping tom to snatch a child? And Chris McDonough's response was extremely high, red flag high or something. He was like almost bingo carding that. And then that was when she started, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she had talked about Dawn snooping around in the middle of the night anytime before then. I had not heard it. It was after that she started talking about Dawn snooping around. In my opinion, she was not talking about Dawn. She was asking about her son.
And I've talked about peeping toms a lot lately in regards to Tony Klein and the Delphi case. If you watch the videos on this channel, you know all about it. Peeping toms can escalate from non-contact to contact crimes. A very large percentage of the people who commit contact crimes have been peeping toms in their past. It's a huge red flag. Huge. But back to Andy Jr. We know that Hunter was talking to Chris McDonough about an Andy, an A, that was creeping in the woods on the day Summer went missing. Here's a quick reminder.
So this dude named Andrew, Don calls Candace.
I don't know if his name was Anthony Andrews or something with A. All I heard was the only thing that she told me from the phone call is that there was some dude, Andrew, Anthony, Andy, whatever it was. Just the name A.
Okay.
That's all I remember. Is that he's been up on the property for a week or two trying to, like, I guess she said touch the little kids. That's what I was told.
Andrew, Anthony, Andy begins with an A. And I am very, very interested to know Hunter's relationship with Andy Jr. I'll talk about that again at the end. But we have seen Andy Jr. before. I have played clips of him on this channel, one of my first videos. And in this clip, Jodisue is very, very careful to make sure to give him an alibi, to include him. All three of us, my son and I.
Stopped all three of us cold.
Her daughter was the first to go to the cabin door. Then all three were there, listening still.
We heard just this kind of shrill, almost animalistic scream.
Jodisue and her son went out to look for the source of the scream.
My son and I decided to go out and look and see what we could see. We went back onto the bank. Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything.
In past videos and in other cases, I have talked about the closest known male. Most cases that are unsolved for a bit and then get solved turns out to be the person who we knew all along was the closest known male. Think back of a few cases yourself that you followed. It won't be long before you come across an example. And I've talked about it before on this channel, especially when I was talking about neighbours and speculating on Jeffrey Jr. Was he driving past the road? Was he actually the closest known male to Summer that day? Don Jeffrey Jr., Andy Bernard, Fred Hill, Dobbs, all of them. And I'm very annoyed at myself because I was talking about the closest known males. I played a clip of this young man, and he is a young man, look at him, and I left it there. Like Don Jeffrey Jr., he is someone who's kind of snuck under the radar here a bit, and nobody is getting a pass, especially if you are the closest known adult male. Like, is he the closest? His dad was in work. Don was in work. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mistaken, he is, that we know of right now, the closest known adult male to Summer that day. That we know about. Somebody not far off him, just down the road, is Fred Hill. If you've gone this far in the video, you know who Fred Hill is. A dangerous man, has shot people in the neck. A liar. Ben Hill Road is called after his grandfather or great-grandfather. He's a liar as well, like most of the people on that road. But a content creator called Ziggy, not Ziggy Valero, the other one, back when she wasn't screaming into microphones, was down on Ben Hill Road and she was talking to Fred. Fred is also the one that sent her over to the animal bones, and I think he set her up here. But Ziggy had a good chat with Fred. Chats that she recorded. Chats that Jodisue was very, very worried about. So much so that she began texting Ziggy loads of things about the people on Ben Hill Road. Jodisue wants us to disregard everyone in Beach Creek, Ben Hill Road, except for her. Like even George Andy, her ex, she slams him, but she's also the first one to defend him if anyone starts suggesting that, will we have a look at him? Might he be involved here? She's like, no. Is it too close to home? Are people getting too close to someone else? Perhaps. But Jodisue was mad texting Ziggy. Slamming everybody in Ben Hill Road. Going after Fred. Asking Ziggy, telling Ziggy to ignore absolutely everything that Fred says. But it's interesting now going back to see what Fred said about Andy Jr. This is from Doolittle Talks 1 channel. I got it off Scott H's community tab this morning. And it's Ziggy's channel. I link everything down below. Here's what he said.
Andy,
which is Jodisue's on land, then see they got a son named Andy. He don't do anything.
Really?
I've seen him actually in the swimming pool and stuff over at Dawn and Candace's with Summer at one time. Like it. Before she went missing, the swimming pool that used to be there, that wasn't there when she supposedly went missing, but it was there like a couple weeks before. big swimming pool.
Right. Where does that go?
Yeah, that's what I was cousin.
That's what somebody else said.
Where's it at? That where that red barrel set, which they show at red barrel and stuff. That swimming pool set right there.
Fred isn't the most credible guy, but for me, the way he says liable to do anything was very believable. Just my opinion. And that swimming pool, I do have issues with that. How does Fred know this? Here's a picture of the swimming pool that I got from Scott H this morning. He's not wrong about that pool. But how would he know this? Was it on Candace's TikTok? I speculated in the past about TikTok and the fact that that shows your TikToks to the people in your closest location, especially around Don Sheffrey Jr. But I don't think Fred Hill is on TikTok. So how would he know that? Is he saying that he was on the Wells property, that he called up and he seen this? Why was he there, or what was he doing there? And I'm not sure I believe him on this part, because he goes on also to mention the red barrel, and I've got a feeling that Fred has watched and is watching a few YouTube videos. Hi Fred, if you're watching. But I'm not sure I believe him on that part, on the fact that he's saying he's seen Summer and Andy Jr. in the swimming pool together. I'm not really buying that. Unless he can give us a very good reason why he was on the Wells property that day. But I do believe him about the liable to do anything part. So I am very interested in finding out more about Andy Jr. Is he the closest known male to Summer that day that we know about right now? I'd also love to have a chat with Hunter about him. Not me personally, but I would love if someone had a chat with Hunter about him. They're pretty close in age, and there might be things that they'd have in common. Does Hunter know him? Is that why he hesitated about saying the name Andy to Chris McDonough in the interview? I'd love to know everything, every interaction Hunter ever had with him, if he did. And I don't care if there's some sort of weed connection there. I think there possibly could be. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Hunter and Andy Jr. both smoke weed. I wonder if they did know each other. Was Andy Jr. maybe selling a gram or two to Hunter just for a bit of pocket money? We know his dad is dealing it, so it's hanging around the house. Easy access. Easy money. Is that why Hunter liked going out to the Wells? Send a quick message to Andy Jr. Hey, can you hook me up with a gram or two? I'm just speculating. Wild speculation here by me. But I hope if there is a connection, if there is some sort of drug-weed connection there with Hunter and Andy Jr., that it doesn't stop Hunter from saying anything, because it doesn't matter. There's bigger things at play here. We just want to know what happened to Summer. Very interested in your thoughts in this video. I'm probably going to get a bit of backlash, so please give it a thumbs up. But what do you think? What do you think about Andy Jr.? Should he be off limits because he's 19? Because you might feel sorry for his mother? Why is he off limits? I've hopefully provided a few reasons there in this video why he shouldn't be off limits. And these aren't my words. These are the words from the people who are around the area. And people are talking about him for a reason. It's not for no reason. Let me know what you think. Good luck. God bless. Have a good day.